Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay, so I've been kind of busy today working on various things regarding all the stuff we've been looking at. One thing I did is I started rebuilding the virtual machine I'm going to use when I do my class. For examples, I want to do that stuff on a clean system. I also was looking into using T-Script to talk to the Elastos chain, and I'm going to have to look for some better examples because the base one that they gave, there's more stuff that's needed, so I need to look into that a bit more. The other thing I did today is I moved the Solana back onto this machine and been looking at the code here and actually got it to build. Now, I still have to work on the DApp part of it, but I kind of cleaned it up a little, and I think this is it. So what I ended up doing is making the Greet account bringing it back to making it a byte array. And where do I define it? Define it up here. And I also do it in the init. And what I ended up doing, the problem I had been having, because I had started looking at this the other week, is getting being able to set greet string equal to the string that's passed in. This built. Now, that does not mean 100% that it's going to work at runtime, but at least now it's building. And let's see. I can demonstrate that to you. Actually, let's clean it first to prove it. And that's going to clean. That's going to make it, make it start over. So if something's hosed up, it's going to scream. And it deployed. Again, that does not mean that that's going to work when I try to actually access it, but it's always good when you get at least to build and deploy, and the system seems okay with it. Because it's not the array, byte array was based on some other examples I had seen where they were trying to store something that looked like a string. And so that's where I got that idea and been playing with that idea for some time. It's nice to be able to do this on a, can you see this? No, you can't. Let me bring that up. Is that it? Here. Let me bring that up. So you, okay, so you can see, let me scroll back because you kind of missed it. So there are some warnings, unused, and this is the kind of stuff that probably you'd want to clean up at some point. Actually, you would. So it doesn't, I'm so used to using camel case that it complains when you use camel case rather than snake case, but you can see it had some warnings, but it did build. And then we're going to take this, which hopefully you can now see. Yes, you can. And you can see it deployed it. So that's good. Now the question is how to get it to, how to talk to it, and it is, can we get that working? But at least at this point, we have the basic code building and deploying, and now we have to see if we can give it the right information to get it to actually work. And I'm still a little bit sketchy about this setting here, if that's actually going to work. Worst case, you can probably write some kind of copy method where you go bit by bit by bit by bit. So it's certainly in this exercise, it's been a big learning in terms of how Rust works in terms of various things. So, and one other thing that is kind of exciting, not related to this, but one of my other interests is 3D. I took a fairly intensive class on Cinema 4D, and I took another class. Actually, I have a class that it's at your own pace, totally just videos that I took, that I've gone through, and I got mostly through it, and then I got distracted. I'm trying to get back to that. This is on Houdini. If you're familiar with these applications, that's what's used when you see all the cool effects and the cool CGI stuff in the movies or on TV or in ads. And I got really interested. I said I did a fairly intensive course from a place called School of Motion, and they're more After Effects, the Adobe Suite and Cinema 4D focused. I don't think at this point they have any classes on Houdini, but the Cinema 4D, I took their basic class on that, and it was excellent. Of course, I was more like the engineer trying to make something that looks like art, as opposed to the artists in the class who did some incredible, there were some brilliant artists in that class. But at any rate, if you're familiar with those programs, then you may be familiar with what they call the third-party renderers. These are the software that produces the output from the application into a form that you can put into a linear editor like Premiere Pro or Resolve or something of that nature, or an effects, the After Effects or Fusion, and create a video from that. At any rate, there are several that are popular. Two of the very popular ones are Redshift and Octane. And Octane is made by a company called Otoy. And they've come up with something that is related to this sphere. They call it the, They call it the Octane Render Network, RNDR. Now, I'm going to be writing about this in the newsletter for for those of you who get that. And basically, you can buy a token. I think it's an RNDR token to pay for your render jobs that are done through the blockchain, if I understand it correctly. Let me see if I can bring this up. But you know what? I think I would like to talk about. I want to have a little bit more time when I've written about it and looked into it. I really would like to give it a shot. It's just a question of how much it costs. What I have found when I try to use, they call them render farms. That's where you pay, you send your files, you outsource them to a place that has a lot of very powerful machines, and they actually create your output files for you and then send them back. It tends to be very pricey. And where it becomes very valuable is for the studios, or if you have a job that is big. Let's say you're an individual artist and you have a client work that you need to get to them, and on your machine it will take 10 hours. A render farm, or now this Otoy RNDR Network, depending, you can get it in 10 minutes. The question is the cost. That you don't pay for it in dollars. You pay for, fiat. You pay for it in tokens, and I think there's other ways of doing it. But that, so that may not be appropriate for someone doing personal projects. But I'm going to have to look into it some more, but I'm definitely going to write up about it today because I think it's fascinating they came up with it. They're the only, Redshift isn't doing it. Redshift is part of Maxim, so Maxim isn't doing it yet. Autodesk, which makes Arnold, which is another popular renderer. I think NVIDIA makes V-Ray. There are several ones, but they're the only one actually setting up a render network on the blockchain. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful, and if you are interested in 3D, hopefully I sparked your interest a little bit, and I'm glad I was able to report a little bit of progress on getting the Solana stuff to work. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Take care.